Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Unscripted. The big episode 318 is now officially underway. With my boy, my co-host, my guy's been here since episode 1, Logan, Babyface Landers. What's up, baby?
Jay, what is going on, man? Like I was saying, pre-game, right? Pre-show. We thought the show over the weekend and going into Tuesday's show was a lot. Man, these last few days has just been a whirlwind of positive, negative, sad. Every emotion you can think of, man, has happened in said sports world, and we are here to break it all down, in our hour or so format.
Well, you know what they say, Logan. When the mice are out, everybody's gonna play.
There you go.
The cat. And I got more on that in a minute. But let's just go on ahead. Oh, by the way, make sure you check us out on Twitter at Unscripted Guys, all one word, and TikTok at Unscripted Sports, all one word. Check us out also on our new app, the ASAP Network app, ASAP Network app. You can find it on Google Play, Amazon, soon to come out on Apple. We haven't got it quite worked out yet, but eventually they're talking about doing Apple as well. But right now you can find it on you can definitely find it on Google Play, and you can also find it on Amazon. And don't forget, we are also partnered up with Bet Us. So if you do betting, check out Bet Us, and we are also affiliated with them. And I believe if you use the All Sports All Plays in their promo code, what have you, that I think there's a discount that you can get off on your betting. So make sure you check out Bet US as well. And with that, no further ado, Gonzo will be with us here in a few. And let's get kicking. Here we go.
Let's do it, man.
Maybe you haven't noticed yet, but part of my breaking news is the fact that, Logan, and I don't know if you've even noticed it, but so far I've had the sequence of events and putting things in order. Normally I'm all discombobulated and everything is dyslexic looking, but today I got my shit together.
You're in order today on this Thursday, Jay.
It's going well. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to knock on any falsehood, but let's just go on ahead and just get into everything we're talking about. Let's start off with Ja Morant. Why not? Why not start off with Ja Morant? It's a good place to start. I don't know how much a man can do in terms of pointing a laser at somebody, brandishing a weapon, or having a weapon in your jock strap and you're showing it to people with your hand on the gun. I don't know how much you can do and expect to just continue to get away with things and not have to deal with any repercussions. Apparently, Logan, Ja Morant is out there doing pickup games at his house with 17-year-olds. Apparently, he is punching said 17-year-olds about 13 to 15 times during the pickup game. Apparently, the 17-year-old's all pissed off about it. He's talking about lighting Ja Morant's house on fire. Ja Morant's out there saying now he's fearing for his life because this kid has made this statement. But at the end of the day, Ja, it all comes back to you. And it all comes back to your father, T. Morant. I don't know what's going on, Logan, in this family dynamic, But this is just it's out of hand. Somebody's got to get a hold of Ja and bring this guy back in before he really goes too far and loses his whole career.
Yeah, it's we've talked a lot about him, Jay, and unfortunately not for the right reasons. This year, especially with the multiple instances of either him or his father, like you mentioned, getting into altercations or scuffles, may have you, either on the court, off the court, whatever it may be. And also, Jay, this is not a good look for Powerade. Powerade, the world-renowned sports drink, they've not had an athlete in about 5 years or so. And a couple hours before this broke, Jay, they released a commercial touting Ja Morant as their new kind of face of the franchise, right? For the NBA, at least, as the head honcho. Well, that is not a good look for them, unfortunately. And yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, the situation in Indiana a couple weeks ago, that was kind of alerting, right? It's like, okay, well, what's going on here? And now we get this coming out, maybe less than a month later for sure. Talking about him playing pickup games and this is all alleged, by the way. We don't know if this is true or not. This is just reports. Punching a 17-year-old, also, not a legal adult by the definition. But over 10 times for sure. That's what I said. I think it was 13 or 14. I'm not sure which one. But dude, come on. And also, too, Jay, we forgot to mention this one, the Foot Locker incident, which have you heard of that one with Ja's mother? You have not.
Oh, okay. More?
Yes. Let me get that pulled up, so I can correctly give it to you.
While you're pulling that up, let me just say, I don't know how this is going to affect future endorsements for Ja, man, with this coming out. The police have been alerted to this. I don't know what's going to come of all of this with the brandishing of the gun and punching the 17-year-old, if they're going to put assault charges on it or what right now, it doesn't sound like they're going to do a whole hell of a lot of anything because certainly nobody's putting any information out. And it's been, a little bit since that incident's happened. So I think at this point, Ja's probably going to get off lucky on this and nothing's going to come of it. But again, like I said, man, at what point do you it's one thing to have talent, but it's another thing to be wasted talent. And I feel like at some point, Ja's going to he's going to do something, or somebody of his entourage
is going to do something.
It's going to put him in a situation he can't get out of, and that talent is not going to be enough to save him.
Well, it's like people have been saying, Jay, since kind of this stuff has been coming out. You just got to surround yourself with good people, right? Yeah. And so I did find the controversy involving his mother. So this is according to RollingStone.com. A week prior to the incident involving the teenager and alleged punching incident, Memphis police were called to a nearby mall in July of last year, 2022, after Morant, a group of 9 people, Jay, attempted to confront an employee at a Finish Line sporting goods store who had some sort of dispute with Morant's mother. When Morant and his group arrived, they were interceded by mall security guards who in turn had a quote-unquote verbal confrontation that turned physical with Morant's group. According to the Washington Post, the police report states that as the group was leaving the premises, Ja Morant said, this is a quote here, "Let me find out what time he gets off," end quote, which the security guard perceived was a threat. However, no further encounters took place and no arrests were made. And then that was pretty much it for that. And then they go into more details about the incident with the 17-year-old. Some altercation at a Finish Line or a sporting goods store. And dude, come on, I mean, it's just sad, Jay. I mean,
it really is,
because we've seen this happen with so many athletes who are super talented, but just go down a wrong road in just life. And we don't want that for Ja. We want him to, just clear his head and get on the right track, so we can keep seeing him play basketball, Jay. I mean, we don't want him out of the league. I mean, there's been jokes going around saying Ja Morant's going to be the first person to make it out of the NBA. I mean, come on. I mean, he's just got to be better than that. Got to be smarter than that. Like I said, there's people who look up to him, Jay. There's people who got Ja Morant jerseys and mimic his moves on the court. You got to be smarter, man.
And the thing about it is, it was posed on an earlier show. We were kind of talking about Ja, and they were saying, well, he comes from this environment, it's hard to get the hood out of him. And I'm like, look, that might have worked several decades ago, but it doesn't work anymore because you know why? There's a guy by the name of LeBron James in the league right now. Mm-hmm. And there's another guy named Kevin Durant who's in the league right now. And these guys both came up from single mom type situations, lower income type situations, and went on to do great things and build great things. And you cannot tell me in the day of social media that Ja Morant hasn't watched, LeBron's career from the beginning coming up. You can't tell me that he hasn't seen the trajectory of LeBron James before he even made it big. Before he even got into college ball, he saw the example that LeBron James was setting for the rest of the guys coming up behind him that were disadvantaged, maybe didn't have all the, the benefits of life. So you can't tell me that there's not people out there that he can look up to and do the right things. He's just choosing not to. Not only is he choosing not to, but his father is pouring kerosene or nitrous oxide onto an already well-lit fire by Ja himself.
Yep. That's good. Well said, man. Well said. But
what a time to be alive.
Hope he gets a turnaround. Let's move on.
Yeah, man. Hey, next one we'll talk about this Eagles, man. Hey, this Eagles defense has come under scrutiny a little bit in terms of the quarterback push tactic that we all made Jalen Hurts so famous. How famous, you say? Well, they did it 32 times. And out of 32 quarterback sneaks that used the push tactic, 29 were successful out of 32. I don't know about you, but that's a pretty damn good ratio.
That's some good stats there.
Success.
Yeah, that is some great stats there. And Jay, it never used to be that way. I mean, it's smart that they're doing it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you brought up the numbers right there. It's worked pretty much all the time. But used to, it was just, quarterback sneaks. It was just give it to the quarterback and good luck. Go in there, dive, and hope you can get a touchdown or a first. But now you're getting that running back or whoever is behind him, fullback even, just shoving him a little bit and giving him some more speed, some more power, and it works. I mean, it's a smart move. I'm all for it.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that's what they're griping and complaining about. But look, guys, in 2005, the NFL removed language from the rule book that prohibited pushing a ball carrier forward from behind. So if the language was removed, hey, don't get mad that you didn't think about it before they did, or you weren't able to execute as well as the Eagles have. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, the Eagles aren't doing anything wrong. And just because something works doesn't mean you have to automatically take it out just because they found something that worked. Anyway, I think it's a bullshit thing. I think they need to leave it alone. I think that the NFL Players Association needs to leave it alone. And let's just keep playing football. And Frankie Cruz Jr. chimes in with Bucks looking to get
let go.
Oh, yeah, tight end Cam Brate. Oh, no, they let go of tight end Cam Brate. Yeah, I saw that. We'll talk about tight ends here in a minute when we talk about a little bit about the franchise tag. But, yeah, I'm tracking. That's correct. I'm telling you, man, there's a market out there. Titans. Let's talk about these Titans real quick. They are excited to move forward with Tannehill. Now, there have been reports that the Jets have interest in Tannehill from his days when he was paired up with Downey, who is now the offensive coordinator over there with the Jets. So not only is Carr looking at the Jets, but I think the Jets are looking at Tannehill probably for what they can get him at or possibly trade for. Now, the GM for the Titans has come out and said, basically, that's not happening. We're keeping him. But, one thing I know about the NFL is nobody ever gives their cards fully away. So I don't believe that they're all their cards, right? Because we still got to go through the draft. There's still a lot of questions there. So I don't think the Titans are going to tip their hand as to what the Jets are inquiring about. I will say this, that Tannehill in cap space acquires for $9.8 million of it. They got $36.6 million right now in cap space. If they cut or get rid of Tannehill, if they cut Tannehill, they will save $18 million at the cap. So don't be surprised if the Jets trade Tannehill over to, or if the Titans trade Tannehill to the Jets, possibly move up in the draft, whatever the case may be, and look for their next quarterback, unless I truly believe in Malik Willis. But I'm not fully sold that they're 100% quote unquote committed to Tannehill. Logan?
Yeah, I mean, Tannehill hasn't looked super hot recently in recent years. And, I mean, he's getting older, Jay. I mean, Father Time's catching up to him. Injuries are bound to happen. And play is, more than likely going to continue to go downhill. Not say he's an awful player or nothing, but, I mean, it's just he hasn't looked as sharp as he has when he first got there. And, I mean, they drafted Malik Willis, last year or in 21? And he played a couple games last year whenever Tannehill was out.
Right.
But I guess they're still not 100% sold quite yet on him being the future, which is why they're probably going to stick with Tannehill this year. But I mean, Jay, that window they had for championships, I mean, it's getting shorter and shorter, smaller and smaller, pretty much each week now. I mean, because you're running low on stamina here, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, just so you know, last year under Tannehill, prior to him, or I should say, even with him getting hurt, this is how their season looked. They were 6-6 with him in the game last season. They were 500 with him. They were 1-3 without him. So that just kind of gives you an idea of Tannehill and what he means to that organization. But truth be known, when you turn the ball over to Malik Willis, what did you really expect? I mean, I'm just saying, what did we really expect? Question, Logan. Something that I found interesting to me. So we were talking about the big controversy over the turf out there at Super Bowl 57 in Arizona. Obviously, that was a huge issue. It had Arizona, or no, excuse me, not Arizona. It had the Chiefs out there not changing their cleats. It had the Eagles out there going through shopping carts full of cleats to find the right ones. Come to find out, lo and behold, the turf wasn't the issue. It was the maintenance of the turf that was the issue about why that field was so bad. So what happened, according to ex-groundskeeper George Toma. Now you say, why is he ex-groundskeeper? He's an ex-groundskeeper because he got tired of telling the NFL, yo, you're screwing the field up. Could you please stop? And the NFL basically said, screw you, to the guy who has the nickname around the NFL as the sod father.
Oh, dude, that's so sweet. I love that so much.
I kid you not. His nickname is the sod father. This guy has been in charge of every Super Bowl field for decades. And all of a sudden, why do you think he's leaving? He's leaving because the NFL is a bunch of idiots. So what do, Logan? You know what they do? They make the most boneheaded thing they could ever do. They go out there, they water down the field excessively on Wednesday. The moment they finish watering the field, they slide the trays back into the stadium. They never let the trays dry out before they put them into the stadium. Now, Logan, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when water pools in a tray, and then you put a tarp over said field so you can do other activities on the field without tearing up the grass, what do you think is going to happen in that tray?
Yeah, that's just a giant puddle there, man. It's a mess.
Bro, it was so bad. It was so bad that the grass at the root level was rotting away. And they said when they took the tarp off, even while the game was being played, they said that field smelled rotten. Like you could smell the bad bacteria coming out of the grass, the fungus coming out of or mold coming out of those trays. So, yeah, the field probably is going to be slippery when the son of a bitch never dries out.
Yeah, and also, and kind of the comical thing about it, Jay, is that they were hyping this thing up on the broadcast too. Oh, they spent, I forget how much money it was, dude, but it was an insane amount of cash on this field.
Yeah,
and they said
I have no doubt there was an insane amount of cash.
I mean, I think they said it rivaled.
It's going to go to shit.
Yeah, they said it rivaled, I think, like PGA courses, right? Which are beautiful. Everywhere you go, they look great. But man, that was a mess. They spent so much money on that just to be a train wreck. And like you said, Jay, you got to listen to the sod father. Apparently, the NFL don't want to do it.
The guy has had successful Super Bowls every damn year. Yeah. And all of a sudden this year, you don't want to listen to him. And let's be honest, that field, it probably is more expensive than some PGA fields. You know why? Because of the science and technology that goes in making that seed to make that grass be as durable as it is. Yeah, that takes money to develop that type of engineering. And then you're going to go over there and overwater it and then slide it into the damn – what a bunch of idiots. You might as well just go get your Ferrari, go stop by the gas station and put diesel in it.
There you go.
God, what a time to be alive. What a bunch of boneheads. Yeah, man, we're blowing right along there.
Yeah, we're making good progress here, brother.
Hey, we'll talk about Vanessa Bryant for a minute. So we're going to kind of go to a little bit of a serious discussion just for a few moments. Vanessa Bryant, as you know, along with her daughters and along with Chris, and I hope I said Chester, Chris Chester. If you don't know who Chris Chester is, he was the husband of the wife and daughter that lost their lives in that helicopter, along with Gigi and Kobe as well as a pilot. All of them, of course, perished. And, of course, it was ruled pilot error that day. But she was awarded $28.85 million from the L.A. County Sheriff's Department and Firefighters Department for pictures that were taken at the crash site in 2020 by the firefighters, by certain police officers. The photos were then interchanged amongst each other, and so forth. And then, of course, they eventually got leaked out and so forth. So the jury awarded $28.85 million to to Vanessa Bryant and the other surviving daughters. That money will be divided between the daughters and Vanessa. Believe it or not, Chester got $19.95 million in a settlement for his losses of his family. Now, no amount of money could ever replace them, but it's good to see that the city is owning up to this, righting the wrongs of it as best that they can, and things are going the way they're going. And of course, Kobe, Mamba mentality, Gigi, Chester's family. I mean, all these guys, are always going to be in our hearts forever. But I'm just glad that at least this portion of it is out of the way now, and that Vanessa and her children and Chester and his future endeavors can move forward and continue the healing process from what has occurred. Man, rest in peace. Logan, did you want to say anything at all on that before we move on?
Yeah. I'll make it quick, man. I'm glad that they got this settled. They rightfully got a large sum of money. Like you said, it's not going to replace the people who were lost in that accident, but you do like to see that they were well compensated, and it'll help in the future. But yeah, I'm glad we finally able to wrap this up, right? Because that's been lingering for the last couple of years, and I'm glad that both families in this party walked away with a good chunk of change, and we can hopefully continue to move on from that horrible accident that happened, man. Because it's still raw, man. It's still raw these couple of years later, but I'm glad they got that money.
Yeah, me too. Again, it's just the next step in the healing process for everybody involved,
right?
To continue forward. So that's what we want. You always want to promote growth and healing. So, rest in peace, Mamba, and the ones that were as Gigi and of course Chester's family and so forth, and also the pilot. We don't, it may have been his error, but he's still a human, and we still gotta love him, right? So rest in peace to him, and our thoughts go out to his family as well. Now we're gonna do a little something fun, Logan.
I like fun activities. What you got for me?
I want to see just how well you did your homework, because how you answer this next question is going to tell me either A, you put a little time into it, or B, you're just flying by the seat of your pants. So let's find out. Okay. I want you to rank the 5 players I give you that are pretty much the prominent 5 players that are involved in this discussion, which we're talking about the NBA MVP race as it stands currently between us. So the 5 players I want you to rank for this award in order, please. You get Joker, you get Luka, you get Tatum, you get Giannis, and you get Embiid. Now, those are the 5 that I believe, and I think pretty much everybody believes, are one of those 5 are going to be it. Now, if you think there's an outsider outside of that list, you could put him in there, but you better have stats and something to back it up against the other guys.
Interesting. All right, Jay, I got you here. Okay. So first, I think we're both in agreement for this one. First one's got to be Jokic, right? Yeah. That's a slam dunk number 1, right? That's come on, that's number 1. It's really 2 through 5 who you can kind of mix around here. All right, so number 1, I got Jokic. Let me see. Number 2, I'm kind of going back and forth on this one, Jay, but given just how well he's done as of late, I would put Giannis at number 2 because, man, that brother's been balling out, Jay. I'd put him at 2. Okay. Embiid, I got him at 3, because he has missed a couple of games compared to the other ones. 4, I'm a rock with who we got here. Tatum, Jason Tatum, correct. And I gotta put Luka down at 5, Jay. I'm not saying he's. I gotta put him there, brother. I got him put him there. All because of the record, man. All because of that team record. That 32 and 31 ain't gonna cut it, brother.
I get the team record. I do.
Hey, and look, I'm just saying how they're gonna vote for it, right? That's just how I think the league is voting for this one here. Not my personal opinion.
Wow. We literally only agreed on Joker.
Oh, see, that's how we do this show, Jay. We like to change.
And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you my reason. Now, again, I understand, and you do have to take into consideration team and how well a team is performing. I get that. Joker is number 1 because not only is his team number 1, but the guy's shooting 63%.
Yeah, that's
field,
insane.
Crying out loud. And he's averaging a triple-double for the season.
Yep.
Now, when you're averaging a triple-double and you're shooting 63% and your team's number 1 in the West and not too far off from being number 1 in the league, yeah, there's no way you can get around not having Joker at number 1. I'm sorry. There's no case you could present to me that would take Joker out of number 1. And, and you better have some damn good shit. Yeah. Number 2 is where I guess number 2 is kind of where we veer left a little bit, Logan.
Okay, who you got number 2?
Now, I got Luka, man. I'm going to tell you why. The man's averaging 33.2 points a game, right? 50.6% field goal with 8 and 8 on the rebounds and assists. Now, he's passing, he's rebounding. If you look at the next closest guy to him, quite honestly, is going to be Giannis. And Giannis is at 31 at 53% shooting with 12 and 5. Right. So Giannis literally only has one category over Luka, and that's rebounds. And he only has that one by about 3% or 3 rebounds. I should say 3 rebounds over him. So that's why, I mean, for Giannis and Luka, it's extremely close. And the thing about it is, if you take Luka away from Dallas, that team's just done. They're garbage. They're probably going to be right about where the Rockets are currently sitting.
Yeah, that team ain't doing nothing, man.
When you see when Giannis came out of that lineup, they're on a 16-game win streak, the Bucks are. And it ain't just because of Giannis. It's because of the bench, and it's because of the other role players that are helping Giannis. I'm not saying Giannis isn't doing something, but you got to look at it as when Giannis wasn't playing, that team is still winning. And that's why I couldn't put Giannis over Luka. Even though they have a better record, Giannis doesn't mean as much to that team. As crazy as that, I know that may sound, he doesn't mean as much to that team nearly as much as what Luka means to that Dallas Mavs.
I see. Same, and also same with Jokic too, right? If you take him off the Nuggets,
absolutely,
they're barely making the playoffs, if even.
I know. I think with the way Jamal Murray is playing, and I think the way that Porter Jr. and company are playing, I don't think they win anything, but I do think they stay in. At the very least, they're in the play-in.
Yeah, because I mean they've got talent, but I mean, like I said, he's just,
I'm telling you right now,
he's on the road.
You take Luka out of that Dallas lineup, and they will fall straight out of the playoffs. I promise you.
Who you got number 3?
Okay, so number 3, I have Giannis. Again, numbers I gave you, where his team is positioned I gave you. So that's why I got Giannis at number 3. And like I said, between Giannis and Luka, it was close. And it's only because of the value that Luka brings to his team versus Giannis is why I got them separated. Then at number 3, number 4, I got Embiid. Obviously, you know what Embiid means to his team. And if you look at Embiid's numbers, man, they're just through the freaking roof, man. The guy's putting up 33 with 53% shooting, 10 and 4. So the guy's almost averaging a double-double with damn good margins in his field goal shooting and his points. And the reason why I got Tatum rounding out at number 5, pardon me. I got him running out at number 5 because when I look at Tatum's stats, yes, they are number 2 in the East. And yes, they probably could stay in the playoffs without Tatum. But when I look at what Tatum's doing, he's only giving you 30 points. He's giving you 46% shooting, which is far below the next guy at number 4. So it's a field goal percentage that I hold against him. It's also the assists at 4.7. Now he does give you good rebounds at 8.7. But I think with Tatum, what holds me back from Tatum, number 1 is he's getting less points and he's got a worse field goal percentage. Those are really the 2 things that I hold against him. Let's be honest. This is a tough crowd to crack into.
It is.
I mean, all these guys are a tough crowd to crack into. It's nothing against Tatum. It's just in this particular group, he gets squeezed down, in my opinion, down to number 5.
All right, there you have it. Our current. We still got about 20 games, give or so, left in the season.
I think, we're right at about.
Now, Jay, do you have any honorable mentions, guys who at least need to maybe be in that conversation?
Oh man, yeah.
I got you got to put Lillard, right? I think you got to put him.
I was just about to say, I think
you got to put him.
Hell of a job over there in Portland
as a nice honorable mention.
I got, you can look what he's doing in Portland. You can also make for what Sabonis is doing with Sacramento. Now they're at the number 3 spot in the West. So I think you got Sabonis in there. And I think you still got to look at what Steph Curry brings to that Golden State Warriors. We're not talking Dub Nation.
No, of course, no.
Curry's not in the lineup. I mean, we're talking about a good team, but we're not talking finals without Steph Curry.
That's true. All right.
And again, that's just on the West Coast. If you want to go to the East Coast, you can make a compelling argument for Brown. You can make a compelling argument. You can make a compelling argument for your boy Trae Young. Your boy Trae's averaging damn near almost a triple-double if you look at his numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Jay, the comparisons with him and Luka are going to go hand in hand. Right now, they've got pretty much the same record, and and they're putting up similar stats still. I mean, hey, that's probably one of the more even trades in NBA history to this day still.
Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. The last thing I want to talk about before we get into our actual topics, I want to talk about this number 1 spot. Now, we're going to get probably Saturday. I think for the Saturday show at 1:00, we'll probably do maybe 1 through 10. That's all we're going to cover is just 1 through 10 in the NFL draft and what we think and how it's going to play out for those first 10 spots. Because let's be honest, Logan, do we really care about anything beyond 10? Beyond 10, we can kind of speculate where that's going to go. But those first 10 spots in terms of quarterbacks, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and so forth, those first 10 spots are going to be hypercritical. So we'll dive more into that.
Everything else is pretty much just a shot in the dark.
I just want to know, man, and I'm going to make this very quick, and then we're going to get into these slides. Where do you see, man? Where do you see number 1? Do you see just give me a team? Who do you think winds up in the number 1 spot?
Oh, I would say, Jay, I think if Chris, if you're watching, I think Indianapolis rolls up there, man. They don't got a quarterback. They need a quarterback. And where they would be, I think you got to take it.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I could see Indy. I could see the Raiders. And when we talk Saturday, we'll really kind of break down. I think there's going to be multiple teams vying for this number one spot.
Yes,
I don't think it's just going to be Indy. I don't think it's just going to be the. I think there's going to be a multiple number of teams trying to vie for that number one spot, and I think Houston's going to be right there too. Because I think if Houston, well, we'll get more into that. I don't want to go too far.
Okay. We don't want to give it away.
So Saturday, look for us to break down numbers 1 through 10. And it's going to be a good conversation trying to figure out who we think is going to go where. All right, man, let's bring it back up in here. Let's get back into the game. Marcus Spears does not like prime time's recruiting habits. Now, Logan, I don't know if you saw the interview that prime time gave on these recruiting habits. Have you had a moment to look at what's going on with that?
Jay, this is in reference to him saying something along the lines of, I want my quarterback to have a two-parent household, and I want my defensive guys come from a single-parent household. Something like that,
Pretty
right?
much. He came out and said he wants his quarterbacks to have a GPA of 3.5 or better, as well as dual-parent households. He says his quarterbacks have to be a leader of men. And then he goes on to say his defensive linemen should come from single-parent homes and receive free lunches. I'm talking about just trying to make it situations. He goes on to say he's trying to rescue. He says it's like trying to rescue mama, like mama just barely made the flight.
I love his analogies, man.
Hey, I'm just saying, listen, you can't make this up. It is out there. The video is prominent.
Yes,
all you gotta Google that and you'll see it if you want to hear it verbatim. But that's pretty much verbatim. I got to be honest with you. Marcus Spears basically is saying, "Look, this isn't funny. You're making light of situations and saying that this has to be this way, this has to be that." And I understand where he's coming from. It is kind of shocking that Dion would come out and say that, to say that a single parent mother couldn't raise a leader of men and go on to be an NFL quarterback or a highly touted college quarterback. But Logan, what do you think, man? Is Prime is he right? Is he wrong? Should we be chastising him for saying this?
Jay, I mean, I don't think he's overstepping anything, right? I don't think he's saying anything like super egregious and just downright awful. Because I mean, you can kind of see what he's saying, right? He's not just saying it's all black and white and stuff like that. He's saying just, I guess, from his time in coaching in the league, et cetera, that's what just he wants. He's not saying that's all he's going to draft. He's not saying that, or that he's all going to recruit. But I mean, I don't see a huge deal from it personally. I can see why Marcus Spears has an issue with it. But for me, I just kind of take it with a grain of salt. I don't really take it as, he should be saying that and stuff like that. That's his recruiting methods, and that's how he wants to run his team.
Anthony Price says that he wants a New England offense and a Raiders defense.
Oh, that's perfect. Except the Raiders defense sucks, but oh well.
I
get what you mean in terms of personalities, though, Anthony. He wants those guys to clothesline people.
Oh, man.
And he wants the white boy with the nice smile. Okay, I'm messing with you, man.
No, but I mean, seriously, look, if you put it out there in that context, the way Dion, you're going to open yourself up to this kind of rhetoric.
Well,
it is what it is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's
kind of going to knock Dion, right? Dion's Dion. I mean, this guy's like got the golden arm. He's like the next Nick Saban, of college football, right? I mean, this is the guy.
Yeah,
people want to be like him. They want to be on his teams.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said,
I don't know John Morant and how he acts to survive on Deion Sanders' level of team, though.
Yeah, I'm not
sure. Do you think he could be a quarterback? He comes from a two-parent household.
He does.
I'm sure his GPA may have been decent.
He does come from a two-parent household. Jay, I think he also went to a private school, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. His name is Clarence.
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, he might make a heck of a quarterback for Colorado.
Jeez,
but
I'm just saying, what?
But I mean, Jay, I think we're in agreement here. I'm not making this a huge issue. I can see why it ruffled some feathers, but me personally, I don't see it like that.
It's crazy, man. I don't think any of us see it like that, but
Right.
none of us are Dion, so
There you go.
I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, that man's got his own ways.
Seahawks, and we'll get into this more tomorrow, or on Saturday when we talk about who's drafted where. But Logan, I put this in there specifically because I want to get your mind thinking about the Seahawks as well. And so when you talk to me on Saturday, you can let me know, what do you think the Seahawks are going to do? Because believe it or not, Logan, Seahawks are drafted at number 5.
Yep. Yes, thanks to Russell Wilson and company.
Oh yeah. Logan, here's the deal. And like I said, we're gonna get more of this on Saturday, but I just want to kind of give you one little tidbit. The Seahawks have not had a pick in the top 5 since 2009 when they took linebacker Aaron Curry with the number 4 pick. Keep that in mind. The Seahawks since 2009 have drafted in the low 20s.
And honestly, Jay, if they didn't have the Broncos pick, they'd be in the probably teens or 20s when they made the playoffs. Yeah, they made the playoffs.
So that's what I'm saying. Russell Wilson, getting rid of him, got him into that position, right?
Yeah. Oh man, this is a tough one, man. Because no one saw Geno Smith playing as good as he did last year. He won comeback player of the year, correct?
Logan, do you want to hear a couple of stats on Geno Smith?
Oh, Jay, of course I would. Please tell them to me.
Because you're right. He did get comeback player. I just want you to give you an idea that last season, Smith was in the top 10 in several categories.
Such as?
2 of which I'll talk about. One is he came number 1, first place in completion rate. First place. He was number 6 in total QBR. My question, and the reason I'm giving those 2 picks is I just want to ask you, or I want you to expand on, because I know you're talking about Geno Smith and you talked about comeback player of the year, and he is all those things. And that's why I'm just so curious as to they got a great quarterback. Now, he is 30, Logan.
He is a little older. He's got some seasoning.
But if you're the Seahawks, are you really looking at a quarterback at number 5? Or would you possibly trade out at number 5, pick up some extra picks, and maybe revamp some of that offensive line and other needs that the team has as well? Because you already got a good quarterback. What do you do with that?
I'm kind of more in the mindset, Jay, of either trading back and getting multiple picks. All because, like you said, he did very well last year. They thought he'd be the backup to Drew Lock in that trade. When that trade happened, they're like, all right, Drew Lock, here you go. You're the starter. Nope, that didn't work out. So I would say, man, unless you have like a top tier defensive player, I wouldn't go after it. Because this is a very quarterback heavy draft, and I think they're fine with what they got currently. And if you trade back and get some additional pieces to help out your team, I think that's just the better look for it, honestly, man. They already have a pretty young team all in all, but I would love to get as much young talent as I can. Especially like you said, they need some work on the O-line. I think they've got a handful of rookies over there also who are now coming into their second year. And you got to help out that defense a little bit too. I'm on the bus, Jay, of trading that 5 slot to someone else. I don't know who, and getting a few more pieces just to help build the team sooner rather than later. And like I said, unless you get like a stud defense at 5, which I don't know who they would be looking for, I would trade it back, honestly.
And that's the thing, right? And again, I'm going to kind of leave this topic. We're going to let it sit and marinate. There's actually more. There's actually more about this topic, but I don't want to give too much away because we're going to save that for Saturday. I just wanted to put this topic in here just to get your mind thinking, because I don't know if a lot of people had the Seahawks on their radar as in considering a quarterback at that number 5 spot. There were other teams, but I didn't know if anybody was thinking about the Seahawks. So just keep that in mind, Logan, for Saturday when we talk.
All right.
NBA mulling over whether to or not to use a target score in overtime. That's interesting to me. And then I will tell you, Logan, what's interesting about that is David Silver, as you know, has come out recently and said that he is now favoring load management. And because he is favoring load management, he wants to get away from the double overtime games and just have a set score that when you reach it, okay, that's it, game over, to basically limit the number of minutes that these stars are having to play from this game to the next game. And that's kind of and also to help with the load management. Those are the two reasons that he's thinking about putting this target score in. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I think it's not organic, and me personally, Logan, I don't like it. But what do you think, man?
Now, Jay, I believe the G League does this, correct? This is what they do for their league.
I believe they do.
They have a target score.
Yes.
I would say I would like this for the All-Star game, right? I would like it for the All-Star game, but I wouldn't do it for overtime, man, because I can kind of see why it got brought up, only because most of the time, right, most of the time in overtime, it's one team pulls away and that's pretty much it. That's just how it typically goes. And I guess with this, it would make it more competitive or something. I'm not super sure about that, but yeah, I'm not really loving this idea. I'm not digging it. Put it in the All-Star game. That's fine with me. Make it like 150 or something, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of for the regular season. Yeah,
and again, I just think I don't know. It's not as organic. I get it from a time perspective, but yeah, I'm sorry, little man. I'm good with the way we don't get too many 4-hour games. I mean, that happens every once in a while. You'll get a double overtime, but technically speaking, it's usually resolved in that first overtime. So I don't see why we need to do away with that. I think it kind of hurts the competition side of the game. Shaq, speaking of more basketball, Shaq says AD has fallen off. Not lying. He has fallen off. If you compare AD now to where AD was 3 years ago in 2020 in the bubble and how dominant he was in that game, AD has fallen off. And I'll even drive this point home a little bit more for you, Logan. Check this out. This season alone, his numbers are good. Yeah, he's got 25.8. He's 25.7 points a game, 12.4 rebounds, 2 blocks. So his numbers aren't bad. But this is how you know AD has fallen off. When AD is on the court, they're 18-20. When AD is off the court, they're 11-13. So whether AD is on the court or AD is off the court, they still can't put up an even or winning percentage. They can't even play 500 ball with him on the court. That just kind of gives you a little bit of idea of how much AD and the dominance of AD has fallen off. Because honestly, when Bron goes down with that tendon in his foot or whatever he's got going on, AD's got to be that guy. That ball needs to go to AD's hands every single time it goes up that court. It needs to be in his hand. Logan?
Yeah, like you said, the stats are pretty similar. I mean, pretty much all throughout his career, Jay. I mean, he'll average around 25 or so and do his thing, but he's got to do more. I mean, Jay, we all thought whenever him and LeBron teamed up that it was going to be LeBron in the beginning, right, the first year or so, and then all right, now you see AD is the true number one, right? But he's kind of like that 1B still, right? He's still not that guy you can look to every night, mostly because he doesn't play. Jay, I mean, my God, he's hurt half the time. He's only played in I got stats here. He's only played in 38 games this year. I mean, he played in 40 in total last year.
What's the best ability?
Availability, man.
Damn right.
And Jay, I've got stats here for you, just in terms of games played. He has not played more than 65 games since he came to the Lakers. His career high was 62 back in 19 and 20. Since then, he's played 36 games, 40 games, and now, as of currently, 38. I mean, man, it's hard to be a top player on your team when you're not on the court. I mean, look at Kawhi Leonard. I mean, we all love Kawhi Leonard, but he is also never on the court. I mean, these are two guys who we thought would be running the NBA at some point, right? I mean, they're both great players in offense on defense, but they are I mean, man, they're brittle boned. I mean, they're always hurt with something. It's either illnesses, it's either strains, pulls, tears, broken bones. I mean, it's always something with this guy, man. And he's only played in over 70 games twice in his entire, at least at this point, 10-year career.
That's just insane to me, man.
And that was back-to-back years with the Pelicans in 16 through 18, those 2 years there. But yeah, in the 10, 11 years, he's never played more than 70 games twice.
Well, it sure has no problem collecting the paycheck.
No, not at all. And like you said, the stats, they don't lie. He is consistent as can be, right? Which is fine. That's all good and dandy. But when the Lakers, when they need you, right, they need him right now because LeBron's out for, I believe it's going to be up to 3 weeks. No surgery, thankfully, but this is who else is going to be the leader on that team, Jay? This is a brand new roster. Yeah. They traded everyone at the deadline. You want Dennis Schroeder to be your number 1?
3 years ago, Logan, 3 years ago in the bubble, the media was heralding AD as the next big man or next big player in the NBA, the next face of the NBA, AD. And
I mean, Jay, I think we all were too, as well as he was, because he was the best player in that entire playoff.
Yeah,
but yeah, you just hate to see it, man. He's just.
I just wonder if when he got that ring, if that just took some of the competitive, because that's what I think. I think he lost his competitive fire the minute he got that ring.
He won it too early. You know what I mean? But what I'm really curious about, Jay,
he just, he was content with just, getting, and that's the thing. Shaq said though. Shaq said it. When you come to the Lakers to play for the Lakers, there's an expectation of play. There's an expectation of performance that you're supposed to give the Laker organization when you put that uniform on. And let's be honest, neither one of these dudes, neither LeBron or AD, have truly exemplified what it means to be a Los Angeles Laker. I mean, if you look at past Lakers, from Kobe on back, this is not the Laker team that I hate so much. This is not them. This is some soft ass generic version. Like, when you go to Kroger's and you want to get Dr. Pepper, but you look at next door to it and you got the Dr. K.
This is the Dr. K version of the Lakers, is what you're saying?
That's what we're getting. We're getting the Dr. K version of the Los Angeles Lakers. It's a sad state of affairs, man, honestly, because this is one of the more iconic teams in sports, and they just look like complete dog poo-poo. God, what a time to be alive. Freaking Jalen Carter. We're gonna wrap this thing up talking about Jalen Carter before we get up on out.
This ain't even a warning anymore. He already done went in there and got out.
Bro, I just, when it comes to Jalen Carter, there's a lot of things that don't sit well with me. My mom always said nothing good ever happens after midnight.
That's true. This is at 2 a.m.
And this is around 2:30. You said you must buy that Dr. K a lot. Listen. Don't knock Dr. K, damn it.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Don't knock Dr. K. Dr. K's all right.
Hey, bro, Dr. K, Dr. Thunder, they're working magic on me.
Jeez, man. I'm sorry, man. Anthony Price, you must eat those $150 steaks and hang out with the mayor.
I will say, Jay, I did get that new Dr. Pepper strawberry and cream. It's pretty solid, I will say.
Dr. Pepper, they've got like about 10 varieties.
Yeah, they do.
Coke now has like 10 varieties of Coca-Cola. There's not even a true Coca-Cola anymore. It's Coca-Cola Orange, Coca-Cola Lime.
I will say, I do enjoy that vanilla Coke. That's my go-to.
Yeah, I like the cherry Coke, but it's all good.
Each their own.
But no, Jalen Carter, man. January 15th. That's when the crash took place. January 15th. There's a lot of things that went wrong this day. Look, these cats were coming out of practice. I don't know what makes somebody think you can, number one, race a Suburban, for crying out loud, with a Jeep Hawk strap or some kind of Jeep Skyhawk or whatever the damn thing's called. Either way, neither one of these vehicles are racing vehicles, number one. Number two, if you're going to race, go to the freaking track. What the hell? This is stuff you do when you're drunk. You literally just left your training facility and you're literally going 104 miles an hour down the road. Now, they did say that, and I don't have his name. It starts with an L. But the guy, Larky or whatever his name is, the one that actually blew like .197, clearly he was over the limit.
You're talking about Chandler LaCroix, the UGA staffer who was driving.
Over the limit.
Yeah, she was very much over the limit.
Now, but I don't know about
Jalen. We're not sure. We don't know about Jalen.
But I think that's what's going to come down. They get arraigned on April the 18th, which is 9 days before the draft. So with Jalen Carter, these guys they're switching lanes, they're driving down the center lane, they're going in opposite flows of traffic, and then of course they get into the crash, and then Carter runs over or goes away from the crash, goes over to an apartment complex, tries to blend in with the apartment complex, only to be found out later, no, guy, we know you did this. And he comes back, confesses to the whole thing, and then they get him. But I got a problem, and I've said this to Gonzo. Anytime somebody flees the scene of an accident, there's red flags there. I don't care if you think you're scared or not. It's even worse when you flee the scene. And then you want to try to come back and make amends. Well, I'm glad you came back to make amends, but it doesn't mean that you still didn't flee the scene. So I don't know, Logan. Right now he's facing reckless driving. He's facing racing, reckless driving. That's not what you have seen so far. But I'm not convinced that there's not other charges coming down because 2 people died. Another player and of course a staffer also died. So 2 people are dead because of this crash. And I don't think LaCroix is going to be the only guy or person that goes down bearing this issue. You know what I'm saying? I think there's going to be some other Carter's. It's not over for him yet. He's got to go to an arraignment on the 18th. And I would not be surprised, Logan, if other charges are tacked onto this.
Yeah. Jay, I don't know if you've seen the photo, but they released what the car looked like that LaCroix and Willick were in. It is it is a mess. You can't even tell that's a car.
Yeah. I would imagine you would. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, they were in a Suburban.
I believe it was a 4-door maybe. I forget exactly what it was, top of my head. But yeah, it was rough. But anyways, Jay, so this broke today or yesterday, obviously, that the warrant was out. He went into jail around 11:30-ish last night, got out about 15 minutes later, right? Went in there, posted his bond, went on his happy little way. But man, I'm still waiting for this, Jay, because obviously it said they were racing. I don't know if you've seen it, but they released body cam footage.
I just looked at it. It's freaking horrible. There's nothing left of it.
No.
Like, there's not even a I can see that's the front.
If it wasn't for a tire, you couldn't tell what it was. If it wasn't for a little tire right there, you could not tell that was a car. But they actually I haven't watched the video. I just saw this and I was looking up more about this. But they released body cam footage from a previous. He got pulled over. When was this? So Jay, September 22nd last year. Athens Clark County police officer pulled over Carter for driving, Jay, 89 in a 45 in the exact same car he was driving when the accident took place. Yeah. So I haven't, like I said, I'll look through all that later. But so I mean, yeah, man, come on. First off, you shouldn't be. Come on, what are you doing out there racing, Jay? Yeah. This wasn't even the highway. These were just streets. I mean, these were just.
They're lucky that nobody was out there. Honestly, this could have been so much worse, even than just the 2 that were in the car. I mean, if there had been anybody else out there, now you're talking about all the cars that are affected.
Well, it said they were swerving lanes. It said they were avoiding other cars. I mean, I don't know how many were out there at 2 a.m, but still, I mean, this was just complete recklessness, Jay. I mean, that's why it's called reckless driving. And like Anthony said, these are all misdemeanors, right? For the moment. He has his day in court, like you mentioned.
For the moment, they're misdemeanors. And if they say misdemeanors, it'll be okay. Again, and that's
we don't know if they're going to stay that way though. Once we get more info, because that's what
we were talking about earlier on the afternoon show today. Logan is, Jalen Carter. He's a pretty highly touted.
He was supposed to be working out today.
So now where's he going to fall in this draft? Where is he going to wind up?
Man, he might fall to like round 3, honestly. Because let's not forget this, Jay. Before the season started, they said he had character issues. I can't recall what they exactly were. They said he had character issues, right? Then we see, I think it was maybe last week or the week prior. It said that he was giving out food to like feeding homeless people, just a nice story, right? And then we get this the next week, which kind of makes you think, was that kind of just a fluff piece to kind of cushion the blow of all of this?
And again, we don't know.
No,
you don't know what the true intent of it is, right?
No, but it's an awful look for him that he left the scene and he lied, right? He changed his story, I believe, 3 times. He changed his story, man. And it's just stupid. The UGA football program has had a horrible offseason after a tremendous season on the field with, Stetson Bennett, with Devin, with the crap. I mean, dude, it's been awful. But my God, Anthony said he won't fall to round 3. We know Jerry Jones will draft him.
You know what, though, Logan? You know what's amazing? I don't know about you, but as a human being, I'm trying to think if Jay McLovin was involved in something like this, and this, I don't think I could just go back to the combine after I got off on a belt. I think I would be distraught.
Yeah, because he's going back.
These people are no longer here on the face of the earth, and I played a part in it.
Yeah,
like that would really mess me up. You know what I'm saying? And look, just because he wasn't in the car that wrecked doesn't mean that he's not a part of it. Doesn't mean that he didn't contribute to it, because you know what? It takes 2 people to race. It takes 2 people to act like fools. And they were both going in between opposite lanes of traffic. So to me, when somebody commits a murder, you got accessory to murder, you got accomplice to murder. Who's to say that he, and that's what I'm saying. It may not come to that. They may just keep it on LaCroix, all the blame on her. But I think he shares that blame. I think he should be locked up in jail and not out on bond.
Well, Jay, I mean, you really do hate to say it, but he's the only one left. He's the only one living. He is.
That's right, because LaCroix died.
Yeah, LaCroix and Willig both died in that car crash. So he is the only person who was involved in this left, I believe. Because I'm not sure, right? I'm not 100% sure if he was alone in that car. But Jay, he is the only one that was there. And like I said, that is a lot to carry. That's a heavy load to carry, man.
No, it definitely is. And again, I mean, and this is just speculation on my part.
Of course, yes.
Happened. But right now he's out on bail. He's not off. He's just on bail. Yep. And he's got an arraignment on the 18th, and then on the 18th, we're gonna find out exactly what's gonna happen to him once he goes before that judge.
Yeah, and Jay, I mean, he was supposed to be running the combine today. I mean, we saw that Nolan Smith ran a 4.440 for God's sake. That was insane. I mean,
is that the one that ran the fastest 40-yard time since like 06 or something?
I mean, it might have been, man. I haven't looked at the combine stats much recently. I just saw that highlight on Twitter. But I mean, I don't know how he's going to perform in all this, man. I don't know how you can clear your head when you got all this going on.
Oh, I don't know either.
Like
I don't know how you do
it. It is a awful situation, but like you said, he has his day in court here in about a month and a half, and we will for sure be covering it as more details come out. Because I mean, Jay, it kind of went in the dark for over a month. I mean, you had the wreck, and then we didn't know really what happened. We just know, they got in a wreck, and then it comes out that Chandler LaCroix, the UGA staffer who was driving, was over double the legal limit, Jay, for her blood alcohol. Which that, Jay, we always talk about it. Don't drink and drive, everyone. Just call an Uber, right? Don't drink and drive. At such a young age too, man. 24, and I think Willick was 21, maybe. I mean, come on. That's just sad to see.
I just it's hard for me to wrap my brain around it, to be honest with you. And again, it's just really dumb mistakes and you can say they're kids, but you know what? They're not kids.
No,
they're
no,
adults.
they're not. No, yeah, they are fully. Like I said, they know what they're doing, right? And they do. They know the decisions they made, and we saw what happened, and like I said, man, tough situation for all involved. The families, right? The UGA program. It's it's rough here, man. It's rough here in Georgia.
No, it's just amazing. You have all the talent in the world, Logan.
Yes, you do.
And like I said earlier about John Morant, you got all the talent in the world, but if you don't use your brain to make good,
it don't mean nothing.
That talent ain't gonna do you a damn bit of good.
Not at all, man.
Hey, real quick, before we get out of here, I did want to say it was Kalijah. I hope I said it right. Kalijah Cansey runs fastest 40 by defensive tackle at the combine since 2006, and he ran it in 4.67 was the official time for a defensive tackle.
That's crazy.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. Hey, if the Cowboys want to go draft him,
I'm about to say, Jay, the Raiders too. All we do is draft speed, and that's it. We don't draft any other positions. You can run fast on all four.
Hey, that's about you can say the same thing about Cowboys. Like right now,
true.
I know there's several number of key positions we need, and they're probably going to go draft a running back.
There you go.
I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. Final thoughts, Logan. What are your final thoughts, brother?
Like I said, good show today, Jay. We knocked it out the park. Awesome work. We covered there was a lot to cover today, man, but I think we pretty much got all of it. Spring training's underway. Like I said, not a whole lot to really discuss with spring training, but regular season, man, that's what I'm looking forward to. That's going to be a fun time as usual. Always gonna get some more NHL in here. Also I see here, Jay, just kind of some other news here. I see that the Carolina Panthers founder, Jerry Richardson, died at 86. So unfortunate for him and his family. Like I said, he found the team, Jay. He found the team back in 95.
Man, this is a shame they never got him a Super Bowl, before he passed on.
Yeah. Like I said, they almost got it back with Newton, but they ran into the human buzzsaw, which was the Denver Broncos, and probably the most lopsided game in Super Bowl history.
I just remember he had those purple shoes on.
Yes.
Super Bowl. I'll never forget that. I was like, okay. Hey, do you, boo? Hey, if you get you the Super Bowl, hey, what am I going to say, right?
There you go. All right, Jay, any final thoughts?
Yeah, man. Hey, so my final thoughts before we get up out of here. Number one is please go on Twitter for all these Laking sports stuff that we cover. We put it on Twitter firsthand. You can get us at Unscripted Guys, all one word on Twitter. And check us out on TikTok. Logan does a good job over there as well for us at Unscripted Sports, all one word there as well, man. So check us out. I think you're going to enjoy it. And again, don't forget to check us on that mobile app, ASAP Network. It's ASAP Network on Google Play and Amazon. And again, make sure you check out Gonzo's Sports Room as he does his shows. He'll be on tomorrow, probably the 9 o'clock baseball, the 1 o'clock afternoon, and then he'll have the 3 o'clock betting show, Easy Money that he does. And then we'll have the late night show Friday as well. So lots of stuff coming up tomorrow on ASAP to check out. Lots of content. And then you can catch me and Logan back here on Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to go over probably those top 10 selections. And then we're just going to talk draft. And we're going to talk draft scenarios we think that could happen during the draft. Anything draft related. We're going to dedicate that Saturday, and we're just going to have a good time for that hour talking draft, man. Have a good time with it. And also, don't forget, World Baseball Classic starts in 3 days.
Oh, there you go.
So, again, hey, check that out. Those games, I believe, are being played out there in Arizona. Our guy, Stat Guy, is out there covering a lot of that baseball action for the paper he writes back home in Chicago. So make sure you check out that as well. All right, man. Logan, man, what a time to be alive, brother, man. We made it through another show.
You got it, bro.
And we are going to get out of here. Let me find my thing. And again, man, check us out Saturday, 1 p.m. Y'all have a good night. Deuces.
Peace out.